Article 700.12d of the National Electrical Code, specifically the 2020 edition, addresses branch circuit breaker or switch lockouts for emergency systems. This section mandates that where branch circuit breakers or switches supply emergency lighting or power, a lockout device must be installed. The primary purpose of this requirement is to prevent the accidental opening of these critical circuits. Accidental opening can occur due to several factors, including unintentional manual operation, misidentification of the breaker, or during maintenance activities on other circuits within the same panel. The lockout device acts as a physical barrier or mechanism that restricts unauthorized or accidental operation of the breaker or switch. There are several types of lockout devices that can be used to comply with this requirement. Firstly, simple breaker locks, which are physical devices that attach to the breaker and prevent it from being switched off. These locks typically use a key or combination to secure the breaker in the on position. Secondly, breaker interlocks, which are mechanisms that link the emergency circuit breaker to another breaker or switch. The interlock prevents the emergency breaker from being turned off unless the other breaker or switch is in a specific position, ensuring that the emergency circuit remains energized. Thirdly, tagout systems, which involve placing a tag on the breaker indicating that it should not be turned off. While tagout systems are not as physically secure as lockout devices, they provide a visual warning to prevent accidental operation. The specific type of lockout device used will depend on the design of the electrical system, the type of breaker or switch, and the specific requirements of the installation. The National Electrical Code does not specify a particular type of lockout device, but it does require that the device be suitable for the application and installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. The requirement for branch circuit breaker or switch lockouts applies specifically to emergency systems. Emergency systems are defined in Article 700 of the National Electrical Code as systems intended to supply power and lighting to designated areas and equipment when the normal power supply fails. These systems are essential for safety and protection of human life. Emergency systems include, but are not limited to, emergency lighting, fire pumps, sprinkler systems, and communication systems. The requirement for lockout devices applies to branch circuits that supply these emergency systems. Branch circuits are defined as the circuit conductors between the final overcurrent device protecting the circuit and the outlet or equipment served. This means that the lockout device must be installed on the breaker or switch that directly supplies power to the emergency lighting or equipment. The requirement for lockout devices does not apply to feeders or service equipment. Feeders are defined as the circuit conductors between the service equipment and the final branch circuit overcurrent device. Service equipment is defined as the equipment that provides the main connection to the electrical supply. While lockout devices may be used on feeders or service equipment, they are not required by Article 700.12d of the National Electrical Code. The installation of lockout devices must be performed by qualified personnel. Qualified personnel are defined as those who have the skills and knowledge related to the construction and operation of electrical equipment and installations and have received safety training to recognize and avoid the hazards involved. This typically includes licensed electricians or other qualified electrical professionals. The installation of lockout devices must be performed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and all applicable electrical codes and standards. This includes ensuring that the lockout device is properly sized and rated for the breaker or switch, that it is installed securely, and that it does not interfere with the normal operation of the electrical system. The lockout device must be readily accessible for authorized personnel to operate. This means that the lockout device must be located in a place where it can be easily accessed and operated by qualified personnel. The lockout device should not be obstructed by equipment, materials, or other objects. The lockout device should also be clearly labeled to indicate its purpose. This will help to prevent accidental operation by unqualified personnel. The labeling should be durable and resistant to environmental conditions. Regular inspection and maintenance of lockout devices are essential to ensure that they are functioning properly. The inspection should include verifying that the lockout device is in good condition, that it is properly installed, and that it is readily accessible. Maintenance should include cleaning the lockout device, lubricating moving parts, and replacing any damaged or worn components. The frequency of inspection and maintenance will depend on the environment in which the lockout device is installed and the manufacturer's recommendations. It is important to document all inspections and maintenance activities. This documentation should include the date of the inspection or maintenance, the name of the person who performed the work, and any findings or corrective actions taken. This documentation can be used to track the performance of the lockout device and to identify any potential problems. Failure to comply with the requirements of Article 700.12d of the National Electrical Code can result in penalties. Penalties may include fines, citations, or even legal action. In addition, failure to comply with these requirements can increase the risk of accidents and injuries. It is therefore essential to ensure that all emergency systems are installed and maintained in accordance with the National Electrical Code. In summary, Article 700.12d of the National Electrical Code requires that branch circuit breakers or switches that supply emergency lighting or power be equipped with a lockout device to prevent accidental opening. This requirement applies specifically to emergency systems and is intended to ensure the safety and protection of human life. The lockout device must be suitable for the application, installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, and readily accessible for authorized personnel to operate. Regular inspection and maintenance of lockout devices are essential to ensure that they are functioning properly. Compliance with these requirements is essential to prevent accidents and injuries and to avoid penalties. Emergency systems are critical for maintaining safety and essential operations during power outages. Understanding the specific requirements for these systems, including the use of breaker lockouts, is crucial for electrical professionals and building owners. Firstly, emergency lighting ensures safe egress from buildings during power failures. Secondly, fire pumps maintain water pressure for sprinkler systems, which are vital for fire suppression. Thirdly, emergency communication systems, such as those used in hospitals and emergency response centers, must remain operational during outages. The NEC provides detailed guidelines for the installation and maintenance of these systems to ensure their reliability. The selection of appropriate lockout devices depends on several factors. One consideration is the breaker type. Different breakers may require specific lockout mechanisms. Another consideration is the environmental conditions. Lockout devices used in harsh environments must be durable and resistant to corrosion. A third factor is the level of security required. Some applications may require more robust lockout devices to prevent unauthorized access. Proper installation of lockout devices is crucial for their effectiveness. The installation process should include the following steps. 1. De-energize the circuit before installing the lockout device. 2. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing the lockout device. 3. Verify that the lockout device is securely attached to the breaker. 4. Test the lockout device to ensure that it prevents accidental operation of the breaker. Regular inspection and maintenance of lockout devices are essential for ensuring their continued functionality. Inspections should include the following checks. 1. Verify that the lockout device is in good condition and free from damage. 2. Ensure that the lockout device is securely attached to the breaker. 3. Confirm that the lockout device is properly labeled. 4. Test the lockout device to ensure that it prevents accidental operation of the breaker. Maintenance activity should include cleaning the lockout device and lubricating any moving parts. Damaged or worn lockout devices should be replaced immediately. The National Electrical Code is updated regularly to reflect changes in technology and best practices. It is important for electrical professionals to stay up to date on the latest code requirements. The NEC is developed by the National Fire Protection Association, a non-profit organization that develops and publishes codes and standards for fire prevention and electrical safety. The NEC is widely adopted by states and municipalities in the United States. Compliance with the NEC is often required by law. Failure to comply with the NEC can result in penalties. Understanding and adhering to Article 700.12d is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of emergency systems. The use of breaker lockouts is a critical component of a comprehensive electrical safety program. By implementing these measures, electrical professionals can help to prevent accidents and injuries and ensure that emergency systems are available when they are needed most. Emergency systems are often powered by generators or batteries. The NEC also includes requirements for the installation and maintenance of these power sources. Generators must be properly sized to meet the demands of the emergency system. Batteries must be regularly tested and maintained to ensure that they are capable of providing power when needed. Transfer switches are used to switch between the normal power source and the emergency power source. Transfer switches must be properly sized and installed to ensure a reliable transfer of power. The NEC includes requirements for the testing and maintenance of transfer switches. Emergency lighting must provide adequate illumination to allow occupants to safely exit the building during a power outage. The NEC includes requirements for the placement and intensity of emergency lighting. Exit signs must be clearly visible and properly illuminated. The NEC includes requirements for the design and installation of exit signs. Fire alarm systems must be reliable and capable of alerting occupants to a fire. The NEC includes requirements for the installation and maintenance of fire alarm systems. Smoke detectors must be properly located and maintained to ensure early detection of fires. The NEC includes requirements for the installation and maintenance of smoke detectors. Sprinkler systems must be properly designed and maintained to suppress fires. The NEC includes requirements for the installation and maintenance of sprinkler systems. By adhering to the requirements of the National Electrical Code, electrical professionals can help to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems. The use of breaker lockouts is just one example of the many safety measures that are included in the NEC. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility. Building owners, electrical professionals, and occupants all have a role to play in ensuring that electrical systems are safe.